All right, so you've heard about these long winters that we have here in Michigan, or maybe even the lakes. Yes, we have the Great Lakes surrounding us, but Michigan has a whole other side that nobody's even talking about. I'm talking about the stuff that locals just don't think to mention because, well, it's just normal for us here. And that normal might just be the reason that you fall in love with this place. In today's video, I'm breaking down what you actually love about living in Michigan. And trust me, it's not what you're going to find in the brochures. So make sure you stick around to the end because one of these things, it changed my life and I never saw it coming. Hey, if you're new to me and new to my channel, my name is Eric, and I help people relocate to Michigan the right way. Not by finding the house, but by finding you the ideal lifestyle that works for you and your family. And part of that is knowing what you're really signing up for when you move here. Because Michigan, well, we do have 4 seasons, and we also do have some amazing schools, a booming job market, and tons of outdoors for you to go enjoy. But the stuff that makes people stay here is the stuff that nobody talks about. And in today's video, I'm getting into that. So let's dive in. All right, so first up on our list, I want you to just take a breath, okay? And I've had a couple clients recently that have come from Los Angeles and one from New York that said, Eric, we got to Michigan and I feel like we can actually just breathe. Okay? I was like, what do you mean you can actually just breathe? They're like, I feel so claustrophobic in Los Angeles, in New York, and like I just feel like I'm surrounded by everything all the time, like traffic and people and congestion and crowds. And here in Michigan, I just felt like there was more space. And that's appealing to a lot of people. And it's not just like the downtown area or where you're at. It's your home, larger lots, a lot more bang for your buck with housing, which we'll get into a lot of these things. But, these are the type of lifestyles where people are looking for a little bit more space to breathe. Kids can ride the bike down the streets. You can walk out your front door, actually hear birds chirping, like those type of things. So that is number 1 on our list of what nobody's talking about here in Michigan. All right, coming in at number 2 is the social scene here in Michigan, which is completely underrated in my opinion. Now, I'm not talking about just like going out to the bars or doing like early 20s type stuff. No, we got kids now. We're doing some adult stuff. And what I'm talking about is the actual real connections with your neighbors and people and your friends and like everybody involved in the community, essentially. And they show up in a big way. You go to the high school football game on Friday, half the town is there. You go down to the festival, downtown, Brighton, Milford, any of the small towns around, even Detroit for that matter. People are coming out and they're getting involved. Okay. Everybody's there. That's what this is all about. And it hits different. I don't know if it's just my age or where we're at in life, but I'm looking for those connections and I'm finding that a lot more. The more I hang out around town, the more I connect with people in our community, the more joy is bringing to my life. And if I didn't have that here, in Michigan, I would tell you guys. Trust me, I would tell you there's like a big void of like nice people, but there's so many people in our community and things to do that people just show up for one another. And it's so refreshing because we did not have that in California. We were coming from a place where we didn't have that connection. Of course, I've said this in other videos. We were in a different place in our lives. We were in our mid to late 20s and we weren't necessarily looking for that. But as we get older and we're looking for those connections, the social scene here in Michigan, unmatched. And the third thing that nobody's talking about is the weekend culture in Michigan. It's absolutely elite. Okay, you guys, like when you talk about living for the weekend, trust me, Michiganders live for the weekend. We work really hard during the week, and those weekend getaways, whether it's going out on Lake St. Clair and boating, getting on the golf course, getting out on the slopes in the wintertime as well. The weekend culture is real, and that could look like a lot of different things for a lot of different people, going up north for the weekend, booking a cabin, a hunting trip, whatever it is, going out fishing, there's so many things to do outside, and the weekend culture in Michigan is definitely a real vibe. All right, coming in at number 4 is the seasonal rhythm that grounds you. People joke about the Midwest seasons, and some people even complain about the snow. Well, it snows on Tuesday. Sun shines on Thursday. It's funny until you actually realize there's actually something really cool about the seasons changing. In the fall, you got cider mills, the football games, and the color on the trees are unreal, you guys. The winters, skiing, hot cocoa, sledding in your neighborhood, and then spring comes around and you got bonfires and muddy boots and it's raining all the time. And then the summer comes along and it's like summer magic. Okay. Lakes, sun shining, up north trips. The whole summer vibe is a real thing. So Four Seasons makes it feel like a chapter instead of this one endless loop. And that rhythm, well, for me, it's grounding. All right, coming in number 5, which is a big financial one. So if you are looking to buy a home here in Michigan, well, I got good news for you. You get a lot more bang for your buck here in Michigan than some of the other states. And this has been something that we've been talking about for a long time. When we lived in California, we thought it was going to be impossible to buy a home. Like, I still don't know how some people buy homes in California. We just had 3 or 4 people within the last 30 days reach out and say, I'm selling my $1 million home in California. I'm done with it. I'm checking out, and I am moving to Michigan. I'm going to buy cash, and I won't have a house payment. I won't have, all these ridiculous things happening. And I get it. All right. I'm not here to turn this into a political thing, but there's a lot of things happening, but Michigan tends to be a little bit more safe haven because you do have affordability. And let's not pretend real estate doesn't matter. The truth is people don't move to Michigan because it's cheap. They move here because of what you get for your money goes a little bit further. You're not just buying a box with 4 walls. You're buying a home, and it's got a backyard for your dog. It's got space for a home office. It's got multiple bedrooms for your kids and your growing family and places to grow into. And it's got a finished basement for you to actually hang out in. Okay. I know basements aren't a thing in a lot of states, but Michigan basements, I'm telling you, that's where it's at. Those hot summer days, when it's really hot out, you just go in the basement and just want to be in an ice box. Trust me, there's nothing better. Bring a blanket down there. You might need it, but I'm telling you, that's where it's at. All right, coming in at number 6 today, and I don't think enough people are talking about how much nature we actually have in Michigan. I mean, the whole Upper Peninsula is basically a giant forest. Okay, the whole northern part of Michigan, tons of forest, tons of green space. Look at a map and just see how much green and blue for the water that's surrounding us is here in Michigan. Now, one of the best things that nobody mentions is you don't have to drive 3 hours to get into nature. It's all around us. Okay? Paved bike trails, neighborhood parks, rivers, ski resorts. We got a ski resort here in Brighton, for that matter. You don't have to drive very far. You got National Forest and the Great Lakes and all that things. But people here, fish before work. They paddleboard before dinner. And it's just part of life. Michigan's nature really isn't just like a vacation spot. It's your Tuesday night. Okay. It's everyday life. And when you're raising your kids, that's the kind of access to the outdoors that's fun, and it changes everything. All right, coming in at number 7, and this one hits a little bit different the older you get in life, and it's the sense of deep pride you have for your community. Now, this one can get a little bit personal for you, and whether you land in Northville or Brighton or Grosse Pointe or Dexter, doesn't matter. Okay, all of these cities are going to have something special, and that is community. Okay, it doesn't matter where you live or where you're looking, there is going to be the right community for you. Okay, part of our process is really finding the right community that makes sense for your lifestyle. Okay, whether it's being closer to parks, maybe it's being on a 5-acre lot, or maybe you want to be closer to water, or maybe you want to be on one of the lakes, here. All of those things are going to help us, narrow in on like what community is right for you. But once you narrow that in, then you're going to start getting rooted and you'll find your people. Okay? And then you start having this sense of pride of the community and you find your tribe. All right? And that's really what it boils down to. I can't tell you how many times this has happened where, we've had a conversation about a certain city and, I recommend, hey, go visit that city and just like act as a local, go to the grocery store, kind of eat out, breakfast, lunch, dinner, talk to some people. And some people came back and said, no, that's not for us. We're going to try this other city. And then they did the same thing. And they're like, this feels way more comfortable. Like this feels way more our lifestyle, our people. And this now brings us a sense of pride of community because we love where we live. I've always said this is not about the houses. It's about the communities. Once you find the community, the houses will take care of themselves. These are the things that nobody's talking about here in Michigan. When Brianna and I moved back to Michigan, we moved to a place where we didn't really know anybody. Ann Arbor was home for us for a little bit. We started having our kids and then we moved to Brighton and we found our community. Okay, and I'm here to help you guys find your community, whether it's, like I said, whether it's Brighton, Milford, Dexter, Rochester Hills, Grosse Pointe, doesn't matter. There's tons of places and amazing places here in the Metro Detroit area that you can check out. But it always starts with having a conversation with a local like myself. So whether you're moving in 1 month or 1 year from now, do not hesitate to reach out. All my contact information is down below. Go ahead and schedule a call and we'll get you on the path to the right lifestyle here in Michigan. So until next time, go check out these other videos and we will catch you on the next one.